So terrible.
It's true though.
It is,
It
but
is.
terrible. Doesn't mean it's not terrible.
It's again, that is also true. Truth on both realms.
so so last night, uh, I went to the AEW show, right?
Hmm.
And uh, I went with a buddy from college, and at some point, um, we somebody came out and they kept doing the whoop whoop at him, and I was like, "Are they? Is this guy a juggalo?" And that led me to tell him about the chop chop slide, which
Yeah.
then we listened to on the way back to his car, which was hilarious. Um, which like today he sent me a text and all it said was chop 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 swing 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 swing. And then
Stab, stab, stab.
no, that's how it is because like
Yeah.
you got you when you're talking about your hatchet, it's chop
Chop,
chop
chop, chop.
chop chop swing swing swing
Hmm.
swing. And then if you're talking about your gun, it's bust 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 bust. And then if it's or then it was um clap clap 4 times
Ooh,
and
ooh,
sound the signal.
ooh, ooh.
Whoop 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 whoop. And then it's a there's one about part about swearing, and there's a part about who's the bad or who's badass, we're badass or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's so funny. It's so funny.
Continuing from
But
last week, folks.
yeah. But we got into it. We got stuck in traffic and we listened to it. It was really fucking hilarious.
Mm.
And then I listened to Juggalo Juice the entire way home.
Here we go. Well, my evening last night, for all the folks who care, we had uh, Bruce Campbell come to the Pittsburgh area to do his little Bruce-arama, which is just basically him doing like nerd trivia. And after the
Yeah,
nerd,
our buddy Dan. I saw our
yes,
buddy Dan won.
yes,
Good job.
yeah. So congratulations to him. We will probably have to say that in person when he comes to the store or during the next cosplay karaoke. Uh,
Oh yeah, that's
but
true. Yeah, Chip sent me a picture of him because he was there too.
yeah,
So
he was. And then Bruce started talking about his life as an actor, and he got into it with Toby Maguire. And oh boy, the discussion of this is like what I've heard about Toby Maguire, especially during that period of time, that he was kind of a snot.
yeah,
Like,
I can see that.
like I guess he said when him and Sam started doing when Sam got signed to Spider-Man and he's, you know, he comes up to him, says, "Excuse me," and totally ignores Bruce the first film.
Hmm.
The second film, I guess Toby's like, "Oh my God, you're back again." He's like, "Are you playing a different character?" And Bruce's reply is, "Well, kid, that's what we call acting." So said third movie, he's like, he sees me from about 100 yards away, and he's like, "Oh my God, does Bruce Campbell have to be in this movie too?" Can't have a Sam Raimi movie without Bruce Campbell
No,
in
Bruce
it.
Campbell.
And Bruce is right. He's like, "Damn right, kid." And walked away. That was the best
Should
story
have
he
been
was
like,
telling
damn
about
right,
that.
kid. You'd be lucky to find a director who'll let you do that. So
It's like,
that's
notice
awesome.
nobody asked you to be anything but Spider-Man there, Toby. Yeah. But it was a good
Um,
night.
it's awesome.
They played Army of Darkness afterwards, so of course, awesome movie, cult classic. So that was my evening.
Well, at least it wasn't Evil Dead 2. So it's the worst one. Um, but it's still a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. Um, so happy Thursday, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All you um, Thursday warriors and such. Also, happy 420 to those who celebrate. So
We're not gonna
I did
we're not gonna
like
judge you
that.
on how you celebrate, but
Right. As I say, I celebrated earlier today, and it's good. My back has never felt so good. So that's why I use it. But yeah. So other than that, oh yeah, I got a cool. I got something very cool to show. And by very cool, I mean like my grail. Like this is one of those books that I've only this is the third one I've ever seen in real life. So
nice. Now, is that the first Hal Jordan? If I'm
it is.
okay.
It is the first appearance of Hal Jordan. Um, I mean, the spine's not great. There's a little bit of writing on it, a couple little creases and such. There's a big crease on the one corner, but the last time I saw one in that kind of condition, the cover was the cover was detached. It was in a worse condition. So, but it's at a good price. Uh, it it's one of those things that now I can cross it off the bucket list. Um, I'm just so happy, so happy.
I was gonna
So,
say I saw that in the mills, and I knew you were gonna end up snagging it. It's just
no, this is the waterfront. This is the waterfront.
waterfront.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I approved the collection, and then I just said to them like, because I always get a number, a total number, and then I just said, let me know what you're going to put on it, and Tim got back to me with a number, and the number worked for me, and luckily I just paid my credit card off, and now I'm fucked for a while.
Well, we're showing off. I did also make a nice little purchase. Not as expensive as yours, mind you, but definitely one of my favorites. I am a picky Batman collector, so this is definitely one where it's Batman and Robin Adventures. This is the annual #1 from 1996, and it's the sequel to Mask of the Phantasm, but it's only through the comic book. They never made the actual movie part for the for those who are big Batman the animated series. So
Right.
I figure I get that because I was itching. I haven't bought anything other than like normal books in a while. So
Right. Same. That's kind of why I was like, you know what? I think I need to do this.
yeah.
Um,
And now the rest of the money I have to fix my car up, get it inspected, and maybe, just maybe, new tattoo. So
mhm.
I'm
You know
looking
what?
forward
I've
to
been
that.
itching for a new tattoo as well. So maybe
Should we
we'll
do a podcast while we're getting a tattoo?
no.
The
No, I think the sound of the
needle
the gun in the
machine.
background would probably annoy people.
True.
Um, yeah, I was just double checking. So this is not only Hal Jordan's first appearance, which I knew it was. It is also Carol Ferris and Aben Sur.
Oh, there you go.
So
Oh, that's the.
triple silver.
Is this the technically like the first Silver Age Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not old. This is not OG Golden Age Green Lantern.
Correct.
Okay.
They don't meet up till Green Lantern, like the Howl stuff, volume 2, I think. In number 40, 42, something like that. It's the first time that they meet. So,
Okay.
give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this up. So you can see. Let me make sure I didn't need anything else. So, well, so here's the fun. So I like to use Comics Price
Mhm.
Guide. So here you guys can see like, first Hal Jordan. Um, and it's definitely down down in here in the raw.
Yeah.
But
I was
like,
gonna say,
so
if you're up here, I
no,
was
no,
gonna
no,
say,
no,
how
no,
much
no,
is Todd paying you?
no, no, no. So 23, which is the second appearance of the Green Lantern. That look at how significantly that drops down in the better, slightly better reader copy range,
Yeah.
right? It's like 10%. This one we see a lot too. Showcase 24, and that's in that same era too. I like it. It's not too bad.
You're a hardcore Green Lantern fan, so you're you
Right?
know you literally have it
Do
tattooed
enjoy.
on you. So
I do enjoy being part of the core.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so check it out. It's a good time. Dan Hanna missed it, so I get to show him again. You ready?
Oh,
Ready, Dan?
I'm actually surprised you just kind of don't lick the side of the
I was gonna do it anyway, then you called me out, and I had to do it. I had to finish.
Oh, well, we're getting a little 420 definitely. This is a
Whoops.
definitely 420.
I'm still feeling a little bit from partaking earlier.
I was gonna say, hold on. I might be able to beat you here.
This is now the most expensive book I own. Oh, there we go. Venom's here. That was great. Oh my god. Venom licking it. Great. Great. Oh my god. So funny.
Lethal protectors. Lethal protectors.
Right? Did you see the Venom, the original three Sam Raimi movies, and then Far From Home are finally coming to Disney Plus?
Oh, really? Finally.
Oh, and the Amazing as well.
Okay.
So
It took a while for Sony to.
coming. Let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they got their money's worth out of it. So.
Right. All right. Let's talk some comics so we can talk about
Well, do we want to do our big announcement?
Sorry. I forgot to do all the reminders. My bad.
Yep.
So, don't forget Saturday warehouse sale.
Is it Saturday and Sunday, or is it just
Saturday and Sunday? Sorry, this weekend. Warehouse sale. And Todd is setting up a full booth of pricey stuff as well. So make sure you check that out. I think it's stuff that he has gotten in collections in the last couple months. He did some traveling and bought some collections, so I assume these are things that we've never seen before. But there is a lot of books to go through, and it is like 90% Marvel and DC, like no joke.
As you and I were there Monday and Tuesday doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and people think, oh, you guys pushed it over. It's like, well, yes and no. Like, we did, but we still left a lot of stuff in there. Like,
yeah.
I don't need 50 copies of the same $10 wall book. Like,
yeah,
I maybe need 20 of those. So there are Easter eggs in there.
And
there's not a lot of super key money anyway.
Yeah.
It's a lot of filler, but there is some stuff that's like in the $3 to $5 range.
I think I was pulling stuff after you left on Tuesday that were very low grade. Like I found low grade first appearance of the Suicide Squad. Like, yeah, I was like I left that in there.
And Chaikin cover one, like
yes.
the black and
yes.
nice.
Yeah, it's rough. I was like, I don't think we could get $10 for it, but somebody may need that first appearance. So I left it in
Right.
there.
So
I
like we said, there's there's Easter eggs. There's
mhm,
Easter eggs. Go hunting. It's a good time.
mhm.
There's a lot of stuff. Um,
I will be there Sunday myself, like getting
I
little
will.
bits.
I might. I
You're debating.
I'm debating it. If it's nice out, I might just go ride my bike. But whatever. I like riding my bike. And then the next week, um, or no, 2 weeks after that is Free Comic Book Day, so don't miss that. And then a month after that is the big shoe,
Mhm.
and not yet announced on the website, both Sean Gabbard and Craig Boldman. Still had some
Yes.
up my sleeve. For those who have asked, no Maria Wolf. It's her sister's 21st birthday that weekend, so she is going to stay and hang out with her. So, and just so you know, though, we still do have a couple more tricks up the sleeve, so just hold on. We may have something for you. But if
Yeah.
you're looking to exhibit, I got 10 by 10s left, and that is it. So hurry up.
Mhm.
All right. Did I miss anything after that?
No, I think
After
that's
that's
about
the
it. The
customer
warehouse sale.
appreciation sale, but yeah.
Oh, the Pittsburgh comic show, our buddies.
Oh yeah. That's coming up in the end of May.
Y-
It's like
Yeah,
it's like 2 weeks before ours or a
2 weeks
week
before
before ours.
ours. Yes.
Yeah.
So, save your money, like spend a little bit
Koi
now
Fam
on
will be
some
there.
dollar
Gonna be good.
books. Here, this is the way we're going to do it as a bargain hunter myself. Spend a little bit this weekend, save the rest until the end of May, and then spend it at Pittsburgh Comic show, and then come to our show a couple weeks later and blow it all on those two shows. You won't regret it.
Yeah, I think if you want to, you know, weirdly, a lot of the guys that do the Pittsburgh comic book show also do our show anyway. So it's
Yes.
almost like it's kind of like a sort of a preview show for us, but
Hmm.
but not because we're not putting it on. The guys at Pop Culture do, and I love those guys, and I don't want to take that away from them. But a lot of vendors in the area do the same shows.
Hmm.
So what's also cool is a lot of the guys, including the guys at Pop Culture, if you go to that show, you can check it out, and maybe you're like, oh man, I need one more paycheck to get this book,
Hmm.
and you can be like, are you going to Three Rivers? Can you hold this for me till Three Rivers? I'll buy it at Three Rivers. And
Yep.
maybe some of the vendors will do that. Just saying.
Yep. I was going to say, especially the local guys. The local guys will
Oh,
definitely cut you a deal here and
absolutely.
there, you know. So,
Yep, absolutely. So, all right, let's talk about comics because it's 20 minutes
mhm.
in and we haven't even talked about comics except for ones we bought.
It's
So I'm
true.
gonna go first. Exo Man of War Unconquered #2. Becky Cloonan, um, Mike Conrad, Liam Sharp. Uh, this is still pretty much like, hey, Exo's back in space again. He gets kind of picked up by these uh, space um, Romans, I guess, for lack of a better term. So, as we know, Eric is a Visigoth, and he got the Man of War armor, and apparently there were other armors that picked up these um, Romans, and they built a spaceship, and they still do stuff very Roman-like, and they want that Exo armor. And that's mostly what this book is setting up, like them fighting. Um, and the main villain is Thyra, and she has her own TO armor instead of Exo armor. This has been very good. I very much so appreciate it and recommend it to people who like old Exo. The art is working with the book. It's really dark, like physically dark. So if you like Liam Sharp doing stuff in space, it's great. Um, the writing is very much so old school Exo, like one step above caveman kind of vibe.
Mhm.
So I really enjoy it. Check it out. It's a lot of fun.
I was gonna say, I was helping out the waterfront today, and I was looking through the Exo Mano War, the old school stuff. They are completely out of like the first early issues of the first Valiant run there of Exo Mano.
Well, number one's like a $10 to $20 book.
Yeah.
So, and
Well,
like it's
especially the
hard to find.
glossy
The
one there.
gold one,
Yeah.
the original, the first golds. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, we ended up getting one in the collection, so that's going right back into the back issues for you. You waterfront pickers,
Nice.
you. So
Yes.
mine is going to be one of those independent comics that not a lot of people, even you, John, don't know I read, is the Udon comics that do the Street Fighter and all those classic fighting games from the late 80s into the early 90s. Um, and it just called to me while I was looking through books to do for the show, and I saw Street Fighter Masters, and I think this is just a one shot. I think you're going to do each different character with a one shot type deal, but this is Cammy. For those who don't know who the character is, she is the British British fighter with the blonde hair, always in the camo, wearing the little beret. She's part of that London Corps, I guess is what they are. Um, and I was curious because I haven't read one of those in a while. So I picked it up and I read it, and it's very, classic, them versus Shadowloo Warriors and M. Bison. And this is she was going undercover to stop assassinations of supermodels brainwashed by M. Bison, and like ridiculousness for those who know Street Fighter lore and watch the old animes and stuff. This is about the same kind of deal. You're reading it,
Mm-hmm.
action packed. The art is very good, very colorful, very action packed. Didn't disappoint. That's definitely my one of my like indies that's like I have a couple of the issues here and there in my collection, so I don't know if I'm going to like get all of these, but it definitely was something different and interesting that I was like, okay.
So, do you feel that they should ask Silver Fox to use her Cammy as a variant cover? Silver Fox being the
cosplayer,
one of the cosplayers that's coming to the show next year or this year. Hold on, I'm going to pull up what we're talking about.
Okay. I don't think I have seen her in the Cammy outfit. So
really?
I don't even, I added her to my Instagram, but I seen some of her Marvel characters, but I haven't seen anything other than that. But I was late to the party. Like I just added her recently. So
all right, hold on. Let me share screen.
Because I know what Shannon was working on her wasp outfit, and it was looking pretty good. Right. Okay. I have seen this. Yeah, I'd say that would look good.
Like that to me, like as soon as I saw that, all I thought was, man, that's like a variant cover right there, ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, didn't what Marvel do that with? Was it like the 2010s, 2014, whatnot? That would be a heck of a cover right there. The fact that she's actually doing a martial arts kick. That would probably be more impressive.
Right. But still cool. I just thought it was interesting to point out.
But Marvel did that for I want to say like 2014, something like that. because I remember there was a cosplay for Lady Thor during that run, and I remember the X-Men one because X-Men's easy. Like there's always a Rogue one and a Storm one, and
Dynamite still does a lot of them.
Yeah, they always do it with the
Agent
Vampirella.
Thoris
Yeah,
and Vampirella and
Red Sonja.
Red Sonja and Dragulina. They're already getting Dragulina ones, which blows my mind because
I'm always down for it. I have no issue with that. I am definitely an art guy. I think it's, if it's drawn, I'm cool with it. But photography, and I'm not saying photography isn't an art form, but it feels off, like reading it as a comic book with it on there. But that's kind of just my opinion on it, the feel that I get. And it's not that I don't own like ones with cosplayers in the front. I have a Chaos Comic stuff with the Undertaker from the old Attitude Era books when they did him and Stone Cold and The Rock and Mankind, and they did art versions, and they did like action photo shots, and I have both variants for the Undertaker stuff, but that's because I'm an Undertaker nut and I need to have that kind of stuff. But
all right, let's move on. All right, second book, Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow.
You are on a super
dude. So I'm like, I am on a super kick. It's super.
Because I do remember you, like, what, when we discussed it, you're like, yeah, I'm not a real big Superman fan. That's our other host, Tim Cope, is the Superman fanboy.
No, he's not.
He's not?
He's not a Superman fan. No, he doesn't like it. He doesn't really like DC at all.
Well, I know he likes some DC.
He likes Young Justice, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Anyway, so I said I'm gonna give these number ones a try because they're all dawn of the DC. So this is interesting because like Connor, the half and half clone of Kent and Luther, is back. And he's trying to figure out his place in the world, and he's in Metropolis, and Superman, Supergirl, and Jonathan keep saving everybody. And he's just like, oh, do you need me to help? And they're like, no. He's like,
wow.
I can help with this. And they're like, we got it. And I don't think the way they wrote it, it didn't sound like they were doing it intentionally.
Okay.
So he goes.
I was gonna say, if they sounded like that, that's like wow.
So right. So he goes to the Fortress of Solitude. And he has Helix show him all the current distress calls on the planet. And each one they show, somebody's taking care of stuff. Whether it be the Superman, the Supers, the Justice League, or the Titans, Teen Titans, however you want to call it. Because they show like Bart and Willie Robbins and the blonde Wonder Girl. And he's just like, man, all my friends have this shit covered. What am I going to do? So he's like, show me space. So I find something in the territory, but doesn't really know like what is going on. So he takes this transport bracelet that it's an old Zeta Beam bracelet, and he's going after Dominators and their mutant fleet that are trying to take over this planet. So he gets there, scares the locals, picks a fight with all these guys, and they're all mutants because the Dominators built them to be like the metahumans of their world, of Earth. Lots of fights, which was awesome. Tons and tons of action in this book. The art's phenomenal. It's kind of interesting because Connor also has like the telekinetic power that none of the other supers have, so that's kind of cool. Like he doesn't have heat vision; he has telekinetic power. Okay. So,
Is that
It
like
was
a new
very good.
thing? Like,
Mm-mm.
okay.
Uh-uh. Uh,
Like I said, I am not a big like DC main reading got stuff, so I don't remember
right.
Superboy having that, but hey, I haven't read
Well,
it,
that
so
that was around. That was around back when he was when they did like Funeral for a Friend and Superman died and they were talking about him. Like that's really when um they did it. Like so because he was a clone, he didn't have all of the Superman powers. He had most of them. He had everything but heat vision and I think super breath. So he's just strong and can fly, and that's most of it.
yeah.
So yeah, it worked out. Like I really thought it was a good throwback to that Jonathan. The art's really good, like I said. Um,
I was gonna say the front looks very similar to the '90s Superboy that I remember that we
but this is
remember.
the '90s Superboy. It's that Jonathan or it's that Connor.
Okay, okay. Well,
So,
I'm just saying
but
the
he's
art looks very similar. Like the
well,
like
his design is definitely
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a thing. I like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think everybody should check it out. Um, you know, rock and roll.
Okay.
Next,
All right. I haven't done one of these, I think, since like the number one. But I read the Extreme X-Men number 5, which is the last of the short series there, because I think this was written by Chris Claremont. Um, and I was reading this because this is very I think this makes up for his original Extreme X-Men, which was a very horrible run,
right?
and it's constantly criticized. This volume 2 is really good. So for those who are avoiding it and you're like, oh, I just want classic X-Men, this is very classic X-Men. This has doesn't have Cyclops and Jean Grey, but it has Wolverine, it has uh Shadowcat, it has, you know, it has Bishop, it has Rogue, it has
All the guys from
Gambit.
like the
It's a
late
lot.
'90s.
Yeah, yeah. And they've been tracking Ugin. For those who don't remember who Ugin is, he is the one of the teachers that taught Logan on how to sword fight. And then he later I don't know if I remember he's cursed or he dies. Something like that, where he dies and he blames Wolverine for his death and becomes a mortal enemy. And
Mm-hmm.
you usually find out more about him with that Kitty Pryde and Wolverine from the mid 80s there, mid to late 80s run. Well, he's
Mm-hmm.
back and he's taking over. He's trying to take over Kitty again. Because he's always been, he took over her once, he's trying again. Um, and they're fighting. I think it's in this point in the series, um, he somehow transfers a portion of his being into basically like this sentinel type uh robot, and he and him and a couple other like aligning allies took away the mutant powers, so none of them had their mutant powers. But of course, they prevail, and of course, they finally get rid of Ugin because he disintegrates and hopefully he's gone for good, which is a shame. I kind of like him as a bad guy. His premise is really cool. But we'll see. No one ever stays dead in comics. I enjoyed it. I like the whole run. And like I said, it's very classic X-Men. Um, so anybody who's interested in like maybe getting away from the current run and stuff and wants something from a simpler time of X-Men lore, this would definitely fit your wheelhouse. So
I'm just trying to figure out, like who. Remember Ugin? How do you spell it? You know?
Ougun. He's the one who has like the Japanese, that red Japanese mask.
Ogun.
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 Ogun. Yeah.
It's not two O's or two U's. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. So he's kind of like a Japanese Red Skull. Got it.
Well,
Got it.
he can
Got
possess
it.
people stuff. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's more specter. He's kind of like a specter type.
Right.
He's a ghost and does that, but he's definitely one of those underrated, underused villains that Marvel likes to bring out like once in a while. I'm like, oh, here's this. I'm like, okay, and then he disappears for a while, then they bring him back. I think the last time they used him was during the Death of Wolverine series.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was the Kitty Pryde Wolverine. So they've used him maybe 3 times. This is the 3rd time they've used him in a series.
Okay.
So he seems to be like those. Oh, you're good enough to be in a limited mini series, but not good enough to be an ongoing bad guy. But like I said,
Fair
I
enough.
enjoyed it. I think any X-Men fan would enjoy this because it's a lot of the costumes are different, and it's like that a tween between those 90s yellow and blue outfits, but they updated them and it looks kind of cool. Like even Wolverine's, and I'm very picky on how Wolverine looks, and I like it.
What you
Yes,
Wolverine?
me.
No,
Yeah. So
no. Okay. My last book, Hunt, Kill, Repeat, #2. Um, I gave mad props to the first issue of this book. I am giving mad props to issue 2. The sweet Ryan Kincaid cover. Um, it is still good. This is a little more of like how Artemis fell in love with human, and then kind of like that all the drones are telling all the other gods that Artemis is broken out and is alive. You see Hephaestus make her a new armor, um, and then at the end, Aphrodite shows up as this giant angel of vengeance, and they have a big throwdown, and it's awesome. Um, Probably some of the best illustrated fight scenes I've seen in a long time. Um, and this book just keeps the hits keep coming, man. And she's gonna go see Hades in the next issue. Like,
it
I
looks
love it. I
very
love it.
Witchblade-y. Looks very
Um,
Witchblade-ish.
it's not really. I mean, sort of yes, sort of no. Like strong female character, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, Crazy, super blessed armor, yes.
Yeah.
But holy shit, man! Like the writing in this book is great. The storytelling is great. Everything about it has just been killer from one end to the other. I really love it. I enjoy it. Go check out Hunt, Kill, Repeat. Um, Definitely one of my top picks for 2023 so far.
Nice.
Yeah, it's at least in my top 10 right now for 2023.
Oh, that's always
Okay.
good.
Now we got approximately 19 minutes to talk about who had the better finale.
Oh, we're skipping
So-
my last book. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought. Oh, sorry. I thought you told me you only had 2. My bad. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, this one is technically this is
apologize.
like 3 and 4, because I read them both back to back concurrently. I was looking for something different, and I found Hollow's Eve #1 and 2, and I didn't even know #1 came out until I looked at #2, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And #1 was right beside it, but it was the second printings. But I'm not giving a crap on the printing as long as you can read the story. So, but
Sorry for those who missed it earlier.
so was it? This is about Janie Godby, who is girlfriend with Ben Riley, or ex-girlfriend of Ben Reilly in the current Marvel universe.
Mhm.
She calls herself Hollow's Eve because apparently she got a hold of a bag full of magical masks. And she puts on the masks, and each mask gives her different abilities. And they
The
showcase
Halloween
this.
3.
Yeah, yeah. Except this is like way cooler. No Michael Myers shit, please. Uh
Michael Myers wasn't in Halloween 3. He was the only one not without him in it.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was the one with the creepy kids. Um,
Yeah, and the masks. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
But
awesome.
yeah, but basically she seems to be kind of like the female version of the Hood, if I can go together this route of
Mhm.
she's not like a bad guy, but she's down on her luck. So she's very anti-hero, where she's not
Okay.
saving people, but she's trying not to hurt people at the same time. She's looking, she was like she uses like a mask of invisibility, a mask of disguise, where she makes herself look like Marilyn Monroe. Like it's a kind of an interesting. I'm like, why didn't they do this kind of thing before? This seems like a really good idea. She breaks into a bank vault, is trying to steal some cash, just enough for her to get like get out of town and live, like try to make a life somewhere else. She gets caught by a security guard. She puts on a werewolf mask, beats the living crap out of the security guy, almost kills him, but then she comes to her senses because the masks tend to take over. So I think that's like the caveat with the powers.
Mm.
So she runs away. Um, the security guard survives and everything. And was it what is the Beyond Headquarters is the this government agency that's trying to track her down.
Mhm.
Um, they take samples from the security guard, um, who ends up becoming a werewolf because she bit him. So of course he turns a werewolf, even though she's technically not a werewolf. So it's like one of those weird. Every move she makes, she screws up and kind of makes things slightly worse, and she's trying to make up for it.
Mm.
The art's not
Got it.
bad. Um, like I said, I was looking for a different character, and this seemed like something to give it a try. I'm not sure if I'm going to completely read the whole thing, but I like the premise of masks that give you abilities like this. The second issue is her trying to track down this guy, this security guard, because he's a werewolf, like on the run, and he's causing all sorts of chaos. Um, the
Okay.
Damage
Oh shit.
Incorporated
Oh,
in
never
the
mind. You're back.
MCU, where they're trying to find out how to make these powers themselves. I don't know. But they kidnap
Mhm.
the security guard. She rescues him using a vampire mask, because apparently now she has all that kind of she has that kind of mask. So it's interesting to see where it goes. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be like a good or bad with it yet, but it's definitely like trying something new, trying something different, a little off my normal Marvel, heroes,
Yeah.
you know, trying something different.
All right. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
All right.
So
Now
now we can talk about
we will talk about the battle of
spoilers.
the finales.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Um. So we're going to talk about the fact that we had both a Star Wars and a Star Trek finale today. Well,
This
within
week.
the last 2 days. Yeah, this week, within a day of each other,
Mhm.
right? So we had Mando season 3, we had Card season 3, both limited series ish style, where there's like 10 or less episodes per season.
Mhm.
Both huge fandoms, both loved dearly by me.
Same,
Um,
same. I appreciate both. I'm just not as fanatical sometimes as some of either fan base tends to get.
oh, that's 100% right there.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, so
Which shall we go? Shall we
Oof.
flip a coin to
Let's,
see which we talk about
no, let's just
first?
do it. Let's just do it in release order. So we're going to talk about um, Mando first,
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
So things I liked about Mando.
You're talking
Um,
the episode or the season overall?
um, the episode and the season overall.
Okay.
I thought this season overall was one of the better ones. I thought it was better than two, um, but not as good as one. I think
Mhm.
one was actually no. This might be my favorite season, um, because it finally is at a point where a lot of stuff makes sense. They're building on the prequels and the sequels out of things. They're tying the whole universe together, and we're still getting good story. And
Mhm.
that to me is what it's about. I really still don't like Grogu. I never liked him. Um, but I'm glad he's not driving a mech anymore. Mech Warrior Grogu was not super
But there will
awesome.
be a figure of it. We guarantee it.
So many fucking toys. Um, so I liked that they really established the cloning thing.
Mhm.
Um, I really liked the Mandalorians all coming together as one. Um, the scene where they relight the the, the forge was
Forge.
like
Mhm.
fucking sweet. Um, the only thing I really had a problem with was like the very end where it's like they show him just kind of like chilling on his porch and like Grogu's like floating a frog around, and I'm just like, this just seems a little too like white picket fence cowboy movie ending.
Yeah.
Um, which I know that's what they were kind of going for, but that's kind of how I felt. So
Well, considering what the end of the last two seasons were very, action packed or very, we're on the run or we have to go and try to, find this and find that. I think this is a nice stopping point of, okay, here's where this is. So we know where he is. We're not like, well, where's he going now?
right,
What's he doing now? We don't have to worry about that because right now the dude's living his best life and we'll leave it at that,
right,
until they need him next season. And
right.
then, you know, um, I I feel like they rushed this season. That's my issue with the whole thing. Like the episode itself was fine, but again, I felt slightly rushed. You could have drawn out at least another two episodes,
I agree.
and it wouldn't have affected anything. Two more episodes, and you could have elongated this plan out a little bit more instead of we see about this much Moff Gideon. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we saw more with the scientists who got brainwashed than we saw of Moff Gideon. Like they literally
Well,
dedicated a whole half episode, and Moff Gideon, we saw what his hollow going, oh, what's this? Him meeting with the old boomers, and you know, then he fights and he gets his ass kicked by Mando and Bo-Katan, and that's it. I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be like one of the big bads, and you're like, got your ass handed to you again, and you had awesome arm, yeah, Beskar armor. So I I felt like they rushed it. They did the whole Disney thing of we're rushing to get content out, and they didn't have to. And I understand
right.
it's probably a financial thing. I get it. You know, certain people in Florida are breathing down Disney's neck, so we got to rush this stuff out before we get shut down. That's never going to happen. But but anyway, it was like I felt like again, two more episodes, you could have strung it out a little bit more. Maybe not do so much with the the bureaucracy crap. I could give two rats asses on that kind of stuff. That
Oh,
was. I understand
I
why
thought
they
it
should.
touched. I thought every part hit the right beat this season on it, and that's why I really like it. So,
Yeah, I
all right,
see like where they were leaving off, and like you said, everything's connecting. Saw the Snoke connection, you saw the Emperor connection, the First Order stuff going on. Like you're seeing those seeds being planted, and I have no issue with that whatsoever. I felt like you could have did a little more
all right.
without
So
having to rush.
out of five, out of five, what do you give the season and the finale? You
Finale,
can give them separate ones.
I will finale first. I'll give the finale 5 out of 5. I have no. It was done well. Awesome fight scene. You got to see a little bit of everything. I'm cool with it.
Lady Stormtroopers.
Yeah, Lady Stormtroopers.
People are super pissed.
Starship crashing down into the planet.
Yep.
I'm cool with that. Got to see the Force being used because everybody been bitching about
Yep.
Grogu not using the Force enough. Well, there you go. He just shielded him for a firebomb. So there you go, people. Season,
Yeah, that's a little rough, but anyway, you want.
but again, it's like you expect it.
Yeah.
Season, I would be a little bit more critical. I'm gonna say like a 3.5. Like
Really?
it's above average, but just slightly above average. It's nothing to do with the story. Like I said, I wanted a little more, and you're
That's fine.
you're cutting too much. This is like the opposite of Marvel stuff, the MCU stuff, where they're giving too much. We're getting too much shit. This is, yeah, we're releasing a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff, but we're only going to give you this much. Here, if this is like, Star Wars, this little bit is what we got. Like you see the liquid there, that's how much we got. This is what we could have had this much, and I would have been more happy with it. And I felt we needed more. And I understand there's like the Vision season 2 and all this other stuff, and I'm looking forward to that too. But it's going to be dead until May 4th, when they're going to release another Star Wars thing. You could have had this the rest of April, and we would have been cool with it, or another week added on, and you could have had another episode, and it probably would have been a little bit better. That's just me being critical about it.
Right. So I would give the finale a 5 out of 5. I definitely loved it. I would give the season a 4 out of 5 because I like the stuff that people thought was kind of boring. I thought was awesome and worked for the story. I like the fact that it was tying stuff together. And I'm kind of used to we're going to kind of shortchange you 5 already. But I thought they did a better conclusion of it this time than last time. And yes, The Mandalorian season 2 is coming out for Marvel next week, 2 weeks, I think, something like that. It's soon. I know that. Couple weeks, go order it. Next couple weeks, if you want season 2 as a comic book form. All right. So now we're moving on to Star Trek.
Yeah, this is going to be all you because I do not have Paramount Plus. So
okay. So while you were like, oh, we didn't get enough Moff Gideon, we literally did not get Borg Queen, who is the main villain, until the very last fucking episode of the season. But the way we got her was so well done that, like, this show, this episode was the finale that we always wanted to give Next Gen. And even a little bit of Voyager, because Seven of Nine gets a good finale at the end too. So there is a I mean this episode is so well done. It is down to the T perfect. To the point where there's a moment where Picard and Riker, or Picard goes over to Beverly and is like, I'm gonna go get our son. You stay here. And Riker's like, I'm not letting you go alone. And Worf goes, and I'm gonna make it a threesome. And Riker Riker just goes, do you hear yourself talk? like like it was so perfectly done.
I'm surprised that they would like straight face that, like how they didn't
I
all
thought,
burst out of laughing for saying that,
right?
you
Right?
know?
It was so good, so good. So I really enjoyed like everything they've done with this show. Um, there's another awesome scene where like Worf gets hit with a phaser, and Riker goes to pick up a sword, and he's like, Jesus Christ, this thing is super heavy. How the hell do you even pick it up? And he's like, take off the hilt. He takes off the hilt. There's a phaser in it, and he's like, this whole time you had a sword with a phaser, and you didn't use the phaser. He's like, the sword's more fun. Like it's right. Like you can't write it any better. You can't at
Yeah.
all. It's so good. Um, so like I said, I really enjoy it. Um, there is there's a really excellent moment right after the main fight, but before the credits. There's two excellent scenes. One where it's Jack, Beverly, and Picard in the shuttle, and they're going to their ship, and then the whole scene in the bar, in Guinan's bar at the end, where they're just finally talking about like some loose things of what they're gonna do now and all this stuff. And to see Beverly Crusher become an admiral is awesome as well. And then there's a mid-credit scene that ties in to next gen lore for those who like next gen lore. Um, and it really pushes it to a possible new show with Seven of Nine, Jack, and um, Raffi. So um, I I'm gonna give this finale like a 5.5 out of 5. It was that good. You don't end a show like that without knowing what the hell you're doing. And it was a tearjerker. It had action. It had resolution. It had resolution of things that we've been waiting 30 fucking years to get resolution on. Um, it it was awesome, and it didn't have Romulans, which is also good because you know we all know what happens when you have Romulans. You get Nemesis, and Nemesis is bad. um, but
Uh,
it was very well done. The guys who did this season did their homework.
okay. Well, I have to ask, is like, I'm a next gen fan, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, I've never seen like, I think I saw a couple of episodes of Picard on YouTube because they'll do like free episodes here and there,
Mhm.
but I've I haven't seen anything beyond that point. But from what I've heard, like you, there it was raved, and everybody was like, it's all the feels. Like I've heard,
Yep.
I literally saw five of my friends who are like Trekkies, like under, like they're on the down low Trekkies, and they're like, it's all the feels. This is like what, like you said, it's what they've been waiting for. Now, like I have to find out. Like I'm gonna have to snag someone's stream. So if anybody has a stream thing for Paramount Plus, shoot it to me through my DMs on Facebook, and so I can watch this. And between that and I really want to watch the new Beavis and Butthead shows because I keep seeing all the short clips on TikTok, and they're funny as shit. And those are only like 2 minute
I haven't watched
clips.
it yet. I
Oh,
haven't watched it yet.
it's
I
so
know.
good. It's like, how can Beavis and Butthead be relevant in the 21st century? This is like what they should be doing more often. So, but yeah, that's, I mean, I heard what, like pretty much
Hold on.
the whole crew.
Ren says, I don't like how Data artificially aged himself. Yeah, but the way they did it made sense though, because it's not like it was like the same form because he blew up in Nemesis. So I had to bring him back somehow. So why not let him age up? I didn't care. I
I
thought
was
they
gonna
did it
say,
well.
didn't
I got to
he?
see Moriarty.
I
So fuck yeah.
remember. What was it? Wasn't there an episode where they showed him in the future in Next Gen? Data gave himself like a streak of gray or something in his hair
Mm-hmm.
to look more genuinely like he aged and shit. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand why you would be upset. Like it's like he's an android. He can literally be anything as long as like
Right.
that his synapses and everything is the original stuff. It's all good.
Right.
But
It was very good. I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Um. So anyway, so what was your question? Sorry.
Well, my question was going to be the whole. This had most of the original cast from Next Gen, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was going to say, where is Q in all
It
this?
even
Because
it
Q is
even
actually favorite.
it even has a checkoff like throw for it. Like at the beginning, the president of the US or the head of the Federation is Chekhov's son. Like um Chekhov from the original series, it's his son who's now leading the Federation.
Nice.
So yeah. Q is in the episode,
Oh yeah.
but I'm not gonna tell you where. Q was in the second season a lot.
Okay.
So
Because I know he's always like he's kind of like the little Batmite in the Star Trek universe of he's not really a bad guy, but boy does he like to shit cause a shitstorm for the crew of
right,
Next Gen. So
right. Yeah, he's like a mixelplick. I love it.
yeah.
Ren says in Nemesis he dies, but the card takes place in another timeline because he's still alive. No.
No.
Like you mean that Picard dies or that Data dies? Because Data is just legitimately Data, and it's a backup of Data that was used to monitor these ships in a storage yard, and then they built him a synthetic body that they talked about in season 2 or season 1. Season 1? Season 1. But, Moriarty's there, and that's all that matters. Because in that episode, you see Moriarty, it is like way cooler than any kind of having Data in the show at all. I was just more excited about Worf and Riker than anything else. The Picard Data. What? Oh, okay, fair. So, okay, all right. I think that's pretty much it.
I was going to say, I
So,
think we covered everything we were going to because there's not
yeah.
really, well, I did hear I told you earlier this week about the possible sad news. It's not a confirmation yet, but the rumor mill is strong that um, Disney may recast uh, Kang due
Oh,
to
I doubt that. I highly doubt it.
even that.
I can see them doing it,
Yeah,
but because everything got dropped, I don't see that happen. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm kind of in the middle of, well, if he, like, so the driver said basically that he was texting his side chick in front of his girlfriend and she got upset. And that was literally the entire thing. However, you know, it's only as real as what people say is real.
yeah,
So none of us were there. We don't know.
yeah.
But if more stuff comes out and it makes me go, yeah, you're even more of a piece of shit than I already think you are, then cool. I mean, you can kind of tell he's a little bit of a douche anyway. Um,
I was gonna say
and
I heard the exact opposite is the way he treats people. Like then again, it's I'm sure what you portray in a public setting is different than a personal thing, you know.
yeah,
But
no,
I
I
hear
mean,
he
like just
treats the
seeing him.
fans like great. And like I said, I
Oh yeah,
enjoy him as Kang, and it would
I
be a
do too.
shame to recast him, especially since the whole MCU currently is going to be centered around Kang. It would be a
Mhm.
wow, this is we are screwed. You thought like the whole Ezra Miller Flash thing was bad, you know.
Right.
This at least it's he's done after this movie and they don't have to deal with him anymore. So
Well, I mean, he's got Loki and uh uh
well, I meant Ezra Miller,
the
like his
Kang
situation
Dynasty.
where
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
as
Oh,
soon as
yeah,
this Flash
yeah.
movie that
He's
comes out,
different. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
done. Yeah, they don't have to
yeah,
deal with him. They say, good luck, you ruined your career. And he's gone.
yep.
Which good riddance. He's a creepy dude. He freaks me out.
Indeed.
So it's
It's hard
but
to freak you out.
yeah, well, it when you're trying when you
Yeah, I
literally
like.
kidnap people.
I I'm just saying like I'm not condoning it at all.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm just saying like how the world is. I highly doubt that they're going to do that.
Mm.
I if they do it, cool. I'll be behind that too. Um, if more shit comes out and like we find out he really is a giant d bag, which I kind of feel he is anyway, then also cool, and they'll get rid of him. But we'll see how it goes.
But I did
All
hear
right,
what's
so
his what's his name that played Kylo Ren is going to be cast as Reed Richards in Fantastic
that's
Four.
still rumor,
Mm.
still rumor.
I,
I
I
mean,
I
come on,
hope
we had
not.
that like we've heard a lot of casting rumors about stuff that never came to fruition.
True.
Um, I personally think he would be a better Victor Von Doom, but he is kind of lanky, so cool.
Yeah.
But all right. So who had the better finale? That was the question,
Oh,
and you didn't see the Picard one. So
yeah.
based on what you are hearing on the internet,
Like
who had
the
the better finale?
my from like the consensus that I'm seeing is, um, I'm hearing more positive about the Star Trek finale than I am about the Star Wars. Like this season, especially, the Star Wars fans seem to be very, very uh, douchebaggery. They're complaining, they're whining. It's they didn't do this, they didn't do
This ain't no
that.
Kid Rock and Bud Light.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised they're not taking out their copies of Star Trek and blowing them away with their AR-15s. But
Anyway,
now it's look, from what I've heard, people are okay. Like it was an okay thing with the Mandalorian as compared to Star Trek, where people they're raving. They're like, this is this was what we've been like you said, it's what they've been asking for literally decades here. They're like, we wanted this. Thank you for giving it to us. This is what we've always wanted. And I wish Hollywood would listen more often about that kind of, I understand you want to tease an audience, but you don't tease them for 20 plus years, you know, 5 years, 10 years like the MCU did originally. Cool. Anything beyond that, you're starting to, you're irritating people. You're getting to the point where
indeed.
it's like, yeah, I'm just not paying attention anymore, or they didn't care, So I'm
Right.
hearing more positive about Star Trek. So I'm going to go with Star Trek just
I'm
from,
going to Star Trek.
my
Like,
buddies, like our fellow fans, guys from the coming to New Dimensions talking about it, Now, granted, I think our New Dimension customers are a little bit more, they love both, so they're going to rave about both. So they're a little bit more even keel on that end.
I think most of them love Star Wars more than they love Star Trek. But
Yeah,
one
but I
thing I will
think
always stand firm. I will always stand firm on this, and this is the end of the discussion. Mostly because we need to wrap up Seth B. Is that Star Trek has always done the better TV.
mm,
So
it's
we'll leave it
true.
at that. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Make sure you go to your local comic shop, including your local Nudie Match comic,
Yep.
and support the shit out of them. Got to keep
Yes.
the lights on. Got to pay these guys. We like to be there for you to talk to you about stuff. So help me pay these guys salaries so that I can do that.
Yeah. I don't
And that's
get
pretty much
paid to
it.
do this, guys. I don't. This is a pleasure thing for me, like be
Fair
doing the
enough.
podcast. So,
Yep. Yep.
but I will see
Same.
anybody who's coming out this weekend. I will do my best to get there on Sunday. So come by and say hi to me. Go buy some of Todd's big books so he can go buy some expensive beer. Because you know how Todd loves his beer,
Yeah,
folks.
that's pretty much. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
So
He doesn't buy us expensive beer, and if he
no.
does, we get like this much of it. It's of a can. It's
We get the Dixie cup.
sad.
Dixie cup
Oh, we're
shot.
gonna share this beer. Half a can for him, a quarter can for somebody else, and then like 2/12 of a can for us. Um,
Mm.
but yeah. Anyway, go check it out. And yeah, we'll see everybody next week. All right. Laters.